What if, at age 22, you set up one automatic transfer, $500 a month into the S&P 500, and then just lived your life? No stock picking, no crypto gambles, no watching the news. By 65, that boring little habit grows to about $4.3 million. And here's the part that breaks people's brains. Out of that $4.3 million, you only deposited $258,000. The market built the rest. Stay with me, because the math gets weirder and better. This video isn't about getting rich quick. It's the opposite. It's about getting rich slowly, on autopilot, using the most studied investment on the planet. Most people think building wealth requires genius, luck, or a huge salary. It doesn't. It requires an average return, a long runway, and the discipline to not touch it. The twist is that almost nobody actually does it, and by the end, you'll understand exactly why and how to be the exception. First, let's look at what this machine actually is. The S&P 500 is a basket of roughly 500 of the biggest companies in America. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, the companies you already use every day. When you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you're not betting on one company. You're buying a tiny slice of all of them, for fees so small they're almost invisible. And here's the number everything in this video hangs on. Over nearly a century of data, from 1928 to today, the S&P 500 has returned about 10% a year on average, with dividends reinvested. Through the Great Depression, World War II, the 70s inflation crisis, the dot-com crash, 2008, the pandemic, all of it, the long-run average keeps landing around 10%. And why $500? Because it's the price of a car payment, or a few takeout orders a week, or one impulsive online shopping habit. It's an amount a normal person with a normal job can find. Not comfortable, but findable. That's the whole point. This isn't a plan for people who already have money. It's a plan for people who have time. So the strategy is stupidly simple. $500 a month, every month, from age 22 to 65. That's 43 years. No timing the market, no reading charts. The same deposit in good months and terrifying ones. Watch what happens. Age 32. 10 years in. You've deposited $60,000, and your account sits around $102,000. Honestly, kind of underwhelming. A decade of discipline, and you're not even close to rich. This is where most people quit. Age 42. 20 years in. You've put in $120,000. Your balance is around $380,000. Now the account earns more in a good year than you deposit. Interesting. Age 52. 30 years in. Deposits, $180,000. Balance, about $1.1 million. You're a millionaire, and your money now makes more per year than most salaries. Age 62. 40 years in. Around $3.2 million. And at 65, $4.3 million. Look at that curve. It crawls for a decade, walks for a decade, then absolutely explodes. The last 10 years create more wealth than the first 30 combined. That's not a trick. That's what compounding is. Growth earning growth, earning growth. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he really said it or not, the math behaves like a wonder. So if the recipe is public, why isn't everyone rich? 3 psychological traps. Trap 1, the boring start. 10 years in. Remember, you had $102,000, and $60,000 of it was just your own deposits. Your brain screams, this isn't working. Meanwhile, someone on social media turned $5,000 into $50,000 on a meme coin. The slow path feels broken precisely when it's working perfectly. Trap 2, lifestyle creep. At 22, $500 a month feels doable. Then comes the nicer apartment, the car payment, the wedding, the kids, and $500 always has somewhere better to go. The people who win treat it like rent, non-negotiable, automatic, first. Trap 3, crashes. In 43 years, you will live through multiple crashes of 30, 40, even 50%. In 2008, the S&P 500 fell about 57% from its peak. Your million could become 600,000 on paper. The math only works if you keep buying through the blood, because those crash month purchases are the cheapest shares you'll ever own. Now let's be straight with each other, because this channel doesn't sell fantasies. First, 10% is an average, not a promise. In nearly 100 years of data, only a handful of individual years actually landed between 8 and 12%. Real years look like plus 30, minus 20, plus 15. The average only shows up if you stay in the game for decades. Second, inflation. $4.3 million in 2069 will not feel like $4.3 million feels today. If you run the same plan at a 7% real return, that's the inflation-adjusted number. You end up around 1.6 million in today's purchasing power. Notice something. Even the pessimistic, inflation-adjusted version of this plan makes a 22-year-old a millionaire by retirement on $500 a month. Third, past performance doesn't guarantee the future. True, but this isn't a bet on one company or one product. It's a bet that the 500 biggest American businesses, constantly refreshed as winners replace losers, keep creating value over decades. That's the same bet every pension fund on earth is quietly making. So how do you actually run this play? 3 moves. Move 1. Open the right account. A Roth IRA or your workplace 401k, especially if your employer matches. A match is free money on top of everything you just saw. Inside that account, pick a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. The big ones charge a few dollars a year per 10,000 invested. Fees are the silent killer. Keep them microscopic. Move 2. Automate it. Set the transfer for the day after payday. If the money never touches your checking account, you never have to be disciplined. The system is disciplined for you. Wealth built on willpower fails. Wealth built on autopilot compounds. Move 3. Never interrupt it. No pausing during crashes. No borrowing against it. No, just this once. Every dollar you pull out doesn't cost you $1. It costs you what that dollar would have become. A single skipped year in your 20s can erase 6 figures from the finish line. And if you're older than 22 and feeling sick right now, here's your medicine. Start at 32 instead, same $500 a month, and you finish with about 1.5 million instead of 4.3. Painful? Sure. But 1.5 million is still life-changing, and the gap between starting today and starting someday grows every single month. The best time was 22. The second best time is this week. One more upgrade. Raise the $500 as your income grows. Bump it with every raise, 600, 800, 1,000. The math you saw scales in a straight line. Double the deposit, double the outcome. That's an $8 million version of this exact video. Let's bring it home. $500 a month into an S&P 500 index fund from age 22 to 65, at the market's long-run 10% average, grows to about $4.3 million from just $258,000 of deposits. The curve is brutally slow for the first decade, unstoppable in the last one. Your enemies aren't stock crashes, they're impatience, lifestyle creep, and quitting at the exact moment compounding is about to go vertical. Even inflation-adjusted, this one boring habit makes you a millionaire. So here's my question for you. What's your number? The monthly amount you could automate starting this week? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this made the math finally click, hit like, subscribe for a new What If Money breakdown every week, and send this to one friend in their 20s who needs to see the curve. I'll see you in the next one.